about winning a freaking series?
Wow.
Here?
How about not being the worst team in the National League?
Holy hell. Mets are an absolute disgrace. My goodness gracious. It's 10:02 on the Fan. What's going on, everybody?
Nothing good.
Happy times are here.
You know what it feels like? It feels, somebody said this to us. Gallo said this. I don't know if I can't buy into it because it's just too bad. He said Buck wants to get fired. And I don't think he actually wants to get fired. I don't think he actually wants to get fired, but I will tell you this.
Well, he should get fired. It's one thing if he wants to get fired.
He is acting like June and this early part of the regular season doesn't matter. And I mean that, and I'm not trying to kill him, but I'm just saying, when you hear how he responds to things, how this ineptitude that has taken over this team. And I'm watching this game yesterday, BT, and we've heard this cliche, they just keep finding ways to lose. But at this point, they're inventing ways to lose. Seriously, how do you have Brett Beatty, who's been a very good third baseman? Remember, the defensive side of it was supposed to be the deficiency for Brett Beatty. He's actually been really good picking it over there and, firing it across the diamond. He routine, going to his left, right-hander, scoops it, can't get it out of his glove, error. Right? And that's not even what cost them. It would have given him maybe a double play and got him closer to getting out of the inning. But then you get a walk, a bases loaded, 2 hit by pitches.
They look like an expansion team.
It looked like Little League Baseball.
They looked like an expansion team.
And so if there was 18 different ways for the Mets to lose that game, that is, you couldn't even have invented them losing that game. What's
next? Catcher's interference walk-off?
I'm serious. And so when a team loses and the myriad ways that the Mets lose, and then the manager afterwards says, we put the guys in position to win. I don't know what else you want me to do. What? What are you talking about? And so, to me, hearing the responses. Brett Beatty took accountability. I give him a ton of credit.
100%.
Hearing the responses to this ineptitude from Buck Showalter feels like, these games don't really matter. And you got 6 teams to jump. I'm giving Pittsburgh the edge because they're 1-2 against the Pirates right now. They're tied with them, but I'm giving the Pirates the edge. They have 6 teams to jump before they get into the wild card conversation. That's the back end of the wild card conversation. How is this any way acceptable unless it's just accepted because it doesn't matter? I can't look at it any other way. I can't create reasons for why this team is playing so bad and why they are inventing ways to lose. It's frustrating. And I'm not even a Mets fan.
They're terrible. They're just a bad team, dude. We could try to dress this up however we want. They're just not good. You started all that, and by the way, you nailed everything, so I don't need to be overly repetitive. Everything you said, I agree. You said you're not trying to kill Buck. He deserves to get crushed. Again, it's never personal. New York, the Met fan, I don't know any Met fan that believes in Buck Showalter at this point. Not one.
Has he lost the clubhouse?
He's lost the team.
Has he lost the fan base?
He's lost the fan base. And the New York Mets right now, there's a couple that I lean on. One of the latest playoff projections for the Mets, it's down to single digits. It's down to 9%. I think that was Fangraphs.
Wow.
9%. They haven't won a series in June.
One more time. One more try.
Yeah, they have not won a series in June. Fundamentals are optional. That's what's frightening about this, right? And I think the 2 things that really jump out to me, 3 things. One is Buck and this, I'll use the word apparent because I know he's not enjoying this, but this apparent acceptance of these nightly and daily malfunctions. Buck, is this thing on? Honestly, is Buck alive?
Doesn't care. That's what I'm saying.
Paging Buck Showalter, Mets skipper, please blink if you have a pulse. It's okay to raise your voice, Buck. I'm sorry. It's okay to call somebody out. I'm sorry. It's okay to project outwardly disgust, which has just overrun and destroyed your season. So there's the Buck stuff, right? And he's had a horrendous season. And it's the bottom line, Tiki, until ownership does something about it, what they're telling you is, we're okay with this.
Yes.
We're fine with this. Now, again, I don't take this loosely, but if the Mets want to salvage their season, they've got to move on from Buck Showalter. You called DeRosa. You called Bobby V. You called Joe Girardi. You call somebody.
Well, you got Beltran already there.
You bring up Beltran. So the problem is Buck. The problem is the roster. The problem is, a tacit acceptance until the owner does something about this. And the biggest problem, they don't have nearly enough stars. Everybody knows that. But the few stars they have, they're not playing like stars.
No.
So I don't know where you want to start as a fan. But at this point, you need a new manager.
So
you need a new voice.
About 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, not even, it was 2 months ago, we asked Hoff, who is the leader of this New York Mets team? And surprisingly, he did not say Pete Alonso or even Francisco Lindor.
He did not.
He said Eduardo Escobar.
Yeah.
Now, Escobar just got traded.
That's right.
And I know he was a good clubhouse man. I know that in his limited role, not being the everyday third baseman, spot playing second, sometimes at third, Beatty would DH or be off a day, he turned into a really serviceable, whatever you want to call him, utility player.
I think,
right?
He was good for the kids, good for the club.
100%. Last year he was like the glue. They moved on from him.
Yep.
So I know what we are calling for, explicitly and kind of subversively, but do you think it's already happening? I wonder. I mean, Escobar is not one of the key cogs. He wasn't going to be here for the next 5 years as they try to, win a World Series. But he was an important piece of this year's team.
Yeah.
And so to move off from him and to send him out, I mean, this is a brother-in-law thing. They called up. They needed a utility player, and not even they needed an everyday player out in Los Angeles, and so they get him and they trade him, and we get two prospects back, or the Mets get two prospects back.
Number 19 and number 20 in the Angel system.
Yep, exactly.
Some people actually like the trade from one of the arms is pretty highly touted, but whatever.
But when you think about how this Mets team is built,
and
you move off of a guy who we're not saying was the most important, but he was an important piece of this guy, this process to win a championship. And you bring in two prospects who might be up in 3 years, or 2 years maybe. What are you actually telling us?
You're just acquiring equity so you can ship them back from the Ohtani trade. Hey, you want these two guys back? Take them. They already know their way around the organization.
But it just,
see, I don't know what the message is. I don't know what they're doing. I certainly don't know what they're thinking. The only thing I know is that they look wretched. And I think what bothers me the most, and this goes under the Escobar leadership thing, does anybody care? Like, honestly, does Pete Alonso care? Does Lindor care? Does anybody care?
Yeah.
Like, outwardly care?
Yeah.
Because what I'm hearing from Met fans who are awesome fans is a whole hell of a lot of care and a lack of acceptance. What I hear for the Mets is, we'll get them tomorrow. We'll figure it out. We'll be all right.
They haven't won.
That was a tough one.
We have not won a series in June.
Yeah.
Have not won a series
Second worst record in baseball in the month of June.
And the body language, and we'll get calls here in a second, BT. The body language after everyone, because they always show the dugout. They always show the dugout after whatever happens, and they're just kind of slinking off.
It's lifeless.
Just kind of like, shucks, that stunk.
Yeah.
We'll get them tomorrow.
They go nowhere, dude. We know that.
I can't tell you how mad I would be if I was a Met player and we continued to lose in the ways that we lost. Yeah. And I know people want to defend Buck, and they say, "Oh, it's on the players."
No, they're not defending Buck anymore.
The players,
that's over.
I mean, I'm not talking. I'm just talking about the defender of Buck. Will say the player, and I said this last week. The players got to make the play. They got to be accountable. They got to be responsible. But when it's somebody different every day, isn't that a organizational or systematic something that's going on inside of this team? It just feels like it. And when Buck says, "Oh, what could we have done? We put him in position. Okay, how about you throw Robertson against the best Bryce Harper in this lineup instead of putting a rookie in there who lost it." And then you know what I mean? You've got the bases loaded. Then you got to bring in, Brigham, and he's wild as can be. I mean, this was the most important game of this month for the Mets because they have not won a series. This was they had the lead. They had the chance to win a series, and David Robertson didn't pitch in Game 3.
And it's a team that they own.
Exactly.
So when you stop beating the Phillies, you may as well just go home for the season.
Robertson did not pitch in the game.
No.
That makes no sense to me.
But
so what could you have done better? How about you throw your best reliever?
Precisely.
In a moment when you have to win a game.
Yeah, I'll worry about tomorrow. Let me bag this win. I don't know. It's pretty important.
Or I'll worry about the ninth inning when we get to the ninth inning.
Or that more specifically,
right?
Sure, more immediately, yeah. Oh, my God. 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. Real quick on this, I mean, you're right. I mean, I don't know how else they could possibly lose outside of catcher's interference, a walk-off balk. I mean, they're dropping pop-ups. They're booting grounders. They can't make the easiest of throws. They are making gaff after gaff on the bases. They're flushing leads down the chute with the bullpen. Their stars aren't getting it done. They're an absolute circus. I mean, for the amount of money this team has spent, based on what they've returned, it is the biggest failure in the history of baseball. That's where this is going.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to win 70-something games unless you try to throw a Hail Mary. Is it all Buck's fault? No. But, I mean, you got to try something.
You got to do something.
You have
something
to.
has to change.
No question. All right, let's get to you. First up, Joe is in Clark, New Jersey. What's going on, Joe?
What's up, Joe?
Guys, and how many times have we talked about this? I've been on Buck for the last month and a half. I want him out of here. His voice has gone on deaf ears. It's a disgrace yesterday watching that press conference, guys. Watching him look at the reporters with a quizzical look, like they were bothering him because they asked him a question about, like, what am I supposed to do? What do you expect? And they asked him, they said, so how is the team taking this loss? They're upset about it, but we got to get ready for Milwaukee tomorrow. Are you out of your mind? Well, I mean, this is like my head's exploding. He's got to go. His voice, nobody's listening to him anymore. There's no accountability, guys. How about last week when he takes out Robertson in the 8th inning after 8 pitches, bringing out a Bino to kill? No one's talking about that. He butchers his bullpen. I mean, it's unbelievable how calm he is. So listening to that press conference, like, that's no big deal. It's another loss. Okay, well, you'll be okay. I mean, it's unbelievable. Where's our owner? Where's Steve Cohen? I want to hear from him. Where is he?
Quiet.
Yeah, Eppler too.
Spending $250 million, and he accepts this garbage. It's total garbage. This is the most embarrassed I've ever been as a Met fan.
Wow.
I mean, Billy Eppler, this team that he put out there, I'm sick of looking
now,
at
Joe,
it.
hold on, Joe. That's a statement, Joe. I want to make sure because we all get a little wrapped up and the blood's boiling, the words flow. When Joe from Clark, who's been a great caller here and a devout Mets fan, I look at you as having a pulse, really, speaking for the Met fan. Are you really mean that this is the most disgusted and disappointed that you've ever been as a Met fan? That is a big statement.
Absolutely, bro. With all the hype coming into the season, with 101 wins last year, okay, we fell short last year, but we got Verlander, the Cy Young Award winner last year, and to come into the season, but we're 9 games behind the Marlins. Just the Marlins hold a nothing payroll. We're 8 out of the 1. We're 15 out of first place. Steve Cohen, are you listening? 15 games out of first place. It's not July 1st yet.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, he's got to come out here, bro. I want to hear him miss him. I want to hear him talk. Or Eppler, somebody, man. This is unbelievable. This is unacceptable.
Joe, you did your math a little bit wrong. It's not $250 million. It's almost $500 million.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's
I wasn't going to even drop that in. I know.
With the luxury tax.
You're right.
And the deferred payments to Robinson Cano and some of these other guys that are still on their payroll. They're spending a lot of money. This is the worst team money could buy.
Oh, and trust me, the Mets with Vince Coleman, they wrote the book on that literally.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that is messing around in territory you do not want to be in. Let's go to Comac. What's going on? Eddie's on the Fan. What's up, Ed?
What's up, Ed?
Oh, guys, you're killing me. Tiki,
no, the Mets are killing you.
Tiki.
Yes.
When you were dropping the ball, did we blame the coach? We can't blame Buck for garbage pitching. We really can't. He's been given the worst pitching staff, a bunch of has-beens and never wases. The only thing they could do is change the GM, and it's really too late for that.
So what do you do? Fire all the players? What do you do?
I'd be selling off anybody I could sell off. They already started with Escobar. They should just
quit. Quit. You're saying quit. Quit on the season.
Yes. Start working towards putting all your development into Beatty, into Mysterio, into anybody that could actually develop.
Yeah.
Eddie, listen, this team looks awful. They smell awful. They taste awful. But it's not July 1st yet. You have to try.
You have to try.
You must try to salvage the season, Ed.
You can't quit yet.
Come on, buddy.
I know what you're saying, Ed, but I just can't buy that, man. I can't buy that Stevie Cohen's going to just strip it down, guys. Sorry, let's get everybody. Appreciate you, Ed.
And if he is, then maybe Steve Cohen's not who we thought he was going to be.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. And Ed, by the way, they did get on Coach Fossil for letting me continue to play. But when you're rushing for 200 yards, but I have 3 fumbles and it helps us win games, I mean, what are you going to do?
You got to just give him the ball and hope it stays in his hand, and eventually.
What do you want me to bench my best player? That was Coach Fossil's quote. Period.
Is that what he said?
He said, "What do you want me to do? Bench my best player?"
Not many options at that point.
No, you're right.
I mean, listen, one thing I totally disagree with Buck absolving, but problem number one is Billy Eppler. Everybody knows that. I mean, Billy Eppler is the one who created this disaster of a roster. I mean, the bullpen, you're right. AAA, 4 A's.
Let's get guys we can option, bring up and down.
Oh,
that's
optionality. Option my ass. Option. What are we going to option?
Wait, guess who's starting game 2 of this upcoming series against the Milwaukee Brewers?
Ed Lynch. I don't know who.
David Peterson.
Oh, that's right. David Peterson has not earned the right to come back and take the ball to try to salvage the Mets season. John's in Rivervale. John, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's up, John?
Hey, big fan, guys. Big fan. Listen to you every day as I'm driving.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that.
I'm a huge Mets fan, and I agree with the guy, Ed, man. I am so disappointed. But how does Hefner still have a job as the pitching coach?
I mean,
there is nothing being done with these young pitchers.
Well, who are the young pitchers? Everybody's a veteran outside of a few bullpen arms.
Paul McGill.
Yeah, he's not that. I told you,
you're talking about the guys that they keep sending down because they need to fix in a way. I hear what you're saying, but it's almost not even Hefner because he's not coaching them when they go down to AAA Syracuse.
It's true.
Right, but somebody's making the pitching decisions, right? Cookie Carrasco, you ask the worst bullpen in the National League to go 5 innings, and when 3 of your guys are supposedly unavailable.
Well,
right?
but John, that goes back to Buck. I mean, you're right. I mean, listen, you're not going to go far with Carrasco, but if he gives you 1 more inning, that's 3 less outs that you have to worry about with nobody available. I mean, it's basic math.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. All right. Wow, they just look broken on every level. They do. The good news is there is actually one person, and we'll do this a little later. There is one person who can save the Mets season. Reverse it all, save it all, and get you guys where you want to get. I'll tell you who it is a little later. We're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. I'm actually a little surprised. And I mean, you do what you got to do, but I'm surprised Buck has already gotten some. We've gotten a little pushback with the defensive Buck. That's fine. We say what we say. You say what you say, but. I can't exonerate him. Too many lifeless post-game press conferences, too many mismanagements during the game this year. Buck has had an atrocious season. He's had company. Players have stunk. Eppler stinks. But he is Buck wasn't. Here's the bottom line. Buck was a real asset a year ago. He's a detriment this year. It has turned into that. 877-337-6666. All right. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan.